One of the things that we want is a great return. Yes, absolutely. We want returns that are competitive with what we could do if we just simply dropped our money out there and let it ride. But the balance is balancing return with risk. Hey folks, Colin Richards here. I'm president and founder of Lord & Richards, and I'm thrilled to be talking to you in this segment on a series called When is Enough Enough? In other words, how do I know, as somebody who is looking maybe to step away from work someday, or maybe I'm already in that place, how can I know and not have to fear that I'm going to run out of money before I run out of life? How do I know I have enough? And it's not just about income, although income is vital. Right? Many folks just kind of zero in on income. They say it's all about income. Well, it's vital, but it's not the only thing, because there are things that can enter into your financial plan that can really hurt, such as a chronic illness, the number one cause of bankruptcy, such as failing to address tax problems and minimizing your taxes, not only in your legacy, but right now during your life. There are wonderful tax strategies that are in play right now that you can implement. Such as making sure you're not taking excessive risk with your portfolio, investing in a way that's intelligent and prudent that will sustain your long-term philosophy, and not investing in, one-offs and crazy last-minute, ideas. Emotion ruling in your investment choices will lead to disaster. Emotion ruling in your investment choices is going to lead to disaster. Emotion is important, but it should drive us to develop a plan to make sure we don't fail. As I've said in my previous segment, failing to plan is planning to fail. So developing a foolproof plan doesn't mean that there's any such thing as perfection, but developing a plan that if we test it and we test its probability of success is as close to or at 100% as we can get it. First and foremost, whether in the game of business or in the game of investing, in the game of retirement and financial independence, never run out of cash ever. We never want to do that. I've met with folks from time to time who, when I have suggested that they maintain a cash reserve, an emergency reserve, said, "Oh, no, I'm fine. I've got, I can borrow against my home, or I've got credit cards." And the problem is that may be just a lack of experience with the world of debt, because those who know better know that credit can dry up during a financial crisis. Many people saw this thinking, "Oh, I could tap into my equity. Oh, now my equity is gone because of a sudden crash in real estate values." Or, "Oh, I've got this credit card. Oh, wait a minute. All of a sudden, I've got a lower credit line than I used to have because credit is tightening." So don't depend on credit. Don't depend on debit. Depend upon your own cash. Even if you're having to park it somewhere that you're not super excited about, the goals of cash are, number one, safety, number two, liquidity. It doesn't need to be a huge amount, because some people swing the other way and they're like, "Well, in order to not run out of cash, I'll just put everything there, hundreds of thousands of dollars." That's not a good idea either, because of inflation. So we want to be able to fight inflation with a reasonable rate of return. But in addition, I don't just mean the cash you keep in a bank account. Never run out of cash flow that is in excess of your expenses. Did you know that at Lord & Richards, we can put in place strategies for you right now that will make sure that you never run out of income, that will literally provide you guaranteed income for life? That is the foundation of any great plan. And what we want to do is take the majority of your expenses and put it under that kind of a plan, where they're being addressed just as if you were receiving a pension. Some of you have pensions, but most of you don't. Those of you who have them are blessed. My dad actually wound up with multiple pensions in retirement because of a lifetime of service in both the military and law enforcement. And so having checks arrive or deposits into your bank every single month, knowing that that's going to last the rest of not only your life, but if you're married, your spouse's life, that's awesome. That's a foundational piece. But then we want to add to that risk management. So we want a written plan to not only make sure we never run out of money, but we want to add a risk management plan. And here I would call it not betting the farm. I see people do this all the time. I say, what are you going to do based on our back test? If you had held these same investments 20 years ago, you would have experienced a huge crash and would have probably had to go back to work as a result of not having sufficient risk management. And a lot of folks say, well, I did fine. Well, the reality was you were working during those years and able to replenish during the crashes in 2000, 2008, 2011, 2020, and so on. So 2016. So yes, you might have done fine when you were able to backfill the hole that the market created, but when you're no longer taking in income, your risk magnifies significantly. And then third, be patient, not greedy. One of the things that we want is a great return. Yes, absolutely. We want returns that are competitive with what we could do if we just simply dropped our money out there and let it ride. But the balance is balancing return with risk. I find that most people have an inflated view of what they think their current portfolio will or has returned based on our testing, and they have a overly optimistic view over the amount of risk that we're carrying. We want to get rid of that, right? Those biases that we talked about, such as blind spots and overconfidence and oversimplification. So there are a number of areas to foolproof your retirement. Of course, healthcare is a huge danger, and there are tools, vehicles, and strategies today that will take a large piece of that risk right off of your plate. And I'm not talking about just buying long-term care insurance. There are so many ways this can be addressed. So folks, there are creative solutions to every problem in retirement. How do you know you have enough? Well, it starts with a simple meeting, a financial independence review, and a simple phone call together.